This is a quick review of my 2009 Yamaha FZ6R. This is my second year of owning this bike. I bought it with maybe 3 miles on it, and it has about 4,000 miles on it now. It's a very fun bike. It has a lot of low-end power. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it's great for around the city. It is not a super sport. It has an upright seating position, which for me, being a taller rider, is very comfortable. I often am on it for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. So not being hunched over with clip-on handlebars makes it very comfortable to ride. I haven't done any modifications on it until this year. Last year I left the bike completely stock. This year I've done a few things to it. I added a fender eliminator kit. I added an integrated Moto Dynamics integrated taillight, which I thought really cleaned up the back end nice. Puts the blinkers right there, and that tail light keeps it nice and clean. One of the main upgrades that I did this year was I installed a Two Brothers Black Series carbon fiber exhaust system. You cannot put a slip-on this bike. If you do, it's merely for cosmetics reasons. I put on a full exhaust system, which included new headers. I also put a Power Commander 5 on this bike and downloaded the proper maps for this bike and exhaust. Really changed the feel of the bike. The stock exhaust, well, I can't say I didn't like it. It was very quiet and very tame, and it left a big box on the bottom of the bike. So by changing the exhaust, I've really changed the shape of the bike, which makes it look more aggressive. It definitely sounds great. I'll give you just a quick, I watched many YouTubes before I got the exhaust, and I can tell you that these cameras, the mics on these cameras really do not do this exhaust justice, but I'll start it up. It's a little cold. Again, the mics on these cameras are just not going to do this exhaust justice. I think I left the power tip out, and I think it takes it up to about 100 decibels, which is very loud. When you have the stock exhaust, I learned last year, I had a lot of cagers wanting to pull into my lane. You know, a lot of cagers don't even see you. When they don't hear you, that can cause a challenge. So with this new exhaust, they can definitely hear me next to them, pulling up to them, pulling away from them. The Power Commander 5, you know, they say that this exhaust system gives it an extra 5 or 6 horsepower, plus you lose some weight by dropping the old exhaust. I would say that you can feel it. It definitely makes a difference. I have not put on new turn signals yet, but I've kind of been debating on whether to do that or not on the front. Right now they kind of have these bulky turn signals. I just haven't done it. When I bought this bike stock, it had an additional decal here, which had basically little stars. I took that off. Kind of gives the bike a more aggressive look. Again, this bike has a lot of low end torque, a lot of great power up through the power bands. It's a very nimble bike. You'll see a lot of super sports and a lot of 600s with a 180 or 190 back tire. This just has a 160, a little smaller tire, but when you're it's very nimble to switch it from left to right. Very easy to turn, and it's great for city riding. And when I get out on a main stretch where I can accelerate, it definitely has the power that I need. I went on a group ride out in the country with maybe 20 bikers last week. Most of them had super sports, and my bike did well amongst its peers. It really did. So it's a lot of fun. So it kind of has a Decepticon front headlight. I have not changed the windshield. I've still been debating on which sort of windshield I want, because it has a Decepticon feel. Whether people like it or not, I put some Decepticons decals on the back. I think I paid with tax, tags, and the extended warranty. I bought this bike brand new, and my total was about $7,000 out the door. It's definitely worth the money. I see now the bike starts out around $7,500 or $7,600 at the dealership, and that's before taxes and warranty and tags and all of that. So I think I got a great value when I purchased this bike. It's a lot of fun to ride. Like I said, I just got back from a group ride, so it definitely could use a wash. But very attractive bike. I have a lot of people, when I stop where other bikers gather, they've never even seen one of these things. So they're normally asking me, what the heck is it? A lot of them want to compare it to, I think it's the Ninja 650 or something similar to that. I'm definitely glad this is the choice that I made. It's extremely comfortable, has an inline 4, very smooth. The gearbox is very smooth. So if you're thinking about purchasing a bike more for fun, this is kind of a fun item for me. It is not my main source of transportation. I take this out on weekends and weeknights when I want to tool around the city. This is a great bike for me, so I would hope that you would consider this. It's not a super sport, but if that's what you like, if after 40 minutes or 45 minutes you want to be all cramped up and sore, just for the looks and maybe a little more performance, then so be it. But if you like to just have some power, have some fun, and be comfortable, ultimately when you're on the bike you need to feel comfortable, then this is definitely a good bike for you. Has a great cluster up front, analog tachometer, digital, lets you know, it's got a clock how fast you're going, temperature, has a gas gauge, all of that. Tank holds about 4.3 gallons, give or take. I would recommend that if you buy this bike, go ahead and purchase some frame sliders. It was the very first mod that I ever did, and I did do that last year. I put some Shogun frame sliders on it, just protect the plastics if you ever have to lay it down or drop it. It'll definitely add some protection. I've seen some forum members who didn't have frame sliders and probably wish they did after they dropped it. So this is my review of the Yamaha FZ6R. Thanks for watching.